They told you that your softness was a gift, that your purpose was to heal the wounds of others, that your sensitivity was proof you were meant to be a balm in a world of chaos. You believed them, because when you were small, love seemed to depend on how much of yourself you could erase. You learned to notice the storm in other people's eyes before it struck. You learned to tiptoe through rooms like they were minefields, anticipating moods before they exploded. You became fluent in silence. You learned that to be safe, you had to become invisible, and that to be loved, you had to carry the pain no one else would name. So you did. You carried your family's grief like it was your own. You absorbed their anger, their shame, their broken dreams. You became the keeper of everything unspoken, and for that, they called you strong. They called you mature for your age. They had no idea you were just trying to survive. As you grew, the pattern hardened around you like armor. You became the one who understood, the one who forgave, the one who stayed soft no matter how hard the world became. People were drawn to you like moths to light, not because they loved your essence, but because they sensed you would hold their darkness without flinching. And you did. You held their chaos until your own soul went quiet. You smiled while pieces of you eroded. You offered warmth even as you froze inside. They praised you for your empathy, for your endless patience, for your ability to remain calm while they bled their rage into you. And secretly, you wondered why you felt so tired all the time. You told yourself it was because you were weak, but it wasn't weakness. It was the weight of the collective shadow pressing down on you. Carl Jung warned that what is not made conscious will rule us from the shadows. Most people spend their lives running from their darkness, burying their grief beneath performance, their shame beneath pride, their rage beneath smiles. They build masks and call them personalities. They lock away everything raw and wild and trembling inside themselves, and then they find someone like you, someone open enough to absorb what they refuse to face, and they pour it into you like you are an endless well, but you are not. And lately, you can feel the well running dry, the exhaustion that coils in your bones, the numbness that creeps in even when you are surrounded by laughter, the quiet voice that whispers late at night, "I can't keep living like this." None of this means you are broken. It means you are awakening. Your soul is done being the container for other people's denial. It is ready to become the mirror that shatters it. Pause for a moment and notice how much you've given away just to keep the peace. How many times you said yes while your whole being screamed no. How often you have walked out of rooms smiling while your spirit limped behind you. This is not compassion. This is self-abandonment dressed as virtue. And if you are feeling something rising in your chest now, something like rage, something like grief, something like a storm, you are not collapsing. You are remembering. This is the moment the empath stops absorbing and starts revealing. And when that happens, nothing can stay the same. You have been told your sensitivity makes you fragile, but what they fear, and what you are only beginning to realize, is that your sensitivity makes you dangerous to illusion. You see what they hide. You feel what they deny. You can stand in the silence of their carefully constructed lives and hear the screaming they refuse to acknowledge. They are terrified of that. They are terrified of you. And that terror is proof that your presence is already doing what it came here to do, stirring the shadows they have buried. And if you are still here, still listening, it means something in you is ready to stop pretending. That matters. It means the mask is cracking. It means the old role, the peacemaker, the caretaker, the silent one, is dying. Good. Let it. Because you are not here to carry their pain. You are here to awaken them to it. That is a different path. It is lonelier and it is harder, but it is the only one that will set you free. And as you walk this path, you will need reminders of your fire. You will need voices that tell you the truth when the world tries to lull you back to sleep. So if this speaks to something ancient inside you, stay close. Subscribe now, and let this be the place you return to when you forget who you are becoming. You are not broken. You are unfinished, and your becoming has only just begun, because what you are starting to see is that your life has not been heavy because you are weak, but because you have been carrying what was never yours. The grief of your parents, the shame of your culture, the buried rage of everyone who taught you to be small. This is the collective shadow, the psychic landfill of everything humanity refuses to face, and you have been walking through it barefoot since the day you were born. Most people never even touch it. They spend their lives wrapped in the persona, the mask they built to be acceptable, and they stay there until they die, smiling, polite, hollow. But you were born porous. You were born unable to look away, and that is not a flaw. It is your destiny. Because the only way the collective shadow dissolves is if someone is willing to expose it. That someone is you. It will not be easy. People will flinch when you speak. They will call you cruel for naming what they have buried. They will call you arrogant for refusing to keep bowing. They will call you broken for daring to live as if you are already whole. But their resistance is not rejection, it is recognition. They are seeing themselves in the mirror you hold up, and they do not like what they see. Do not mistake their discomfort for your failure. It is proof that your light is reaching the places they have hidden from themselves. This is the work of awakening, and it is never gentle. You were not born to make them comfortable. You were born to make them conscious. That is why your soul has felt caged in the role of healer. Healing comforts. Awakening disrupts. Healing calms. Awakening burns. Healing is welcomed. Awakening is feared. And fear is the first step toward transformation. This is why your presence feels like a threat to those who are not ready to change. It is not because you are wrong. It is because you are powerful. And when you finally accept that you are not here to soothe but to reveal, you will stop seeking their approval and start reclaiming your fire. You will stop apologizing for your depth. You will stop bleeding to keep them warm. You will stop mistaking their comfort for your purpose. This is the pivot, when the empath stops absorbing the shadow and starts exposing it, and from that moment on, you will no longer be someone they can use. You will be someone they cannot ignore. Everything will change when you make that choice. The air around you will feel sharper. People will sense something different and won't know why. Some will be drawn to you like magnets. Others will retreat like shadows before the sun. Let them. The ones who fear your light are the ones still protecting their darkness. You are not here to dim for them. You are here to blaze until they either awaken or flee. And when they flee, do not grieve. It is not loss, it is clearing. The ones who remain will be the ones ready to walk through their own shadows beside you. Those are your people. Those are the souls who will not ask you to be less. They will not flinch from your truth. They will not mistake your fire for cruelty. They will see what you see, and together you will begin to dismantle the illusion, because that is what this has always been about. Not healing the world so it can go back to sleep, awakening it so it can finally wake. The collective shadow has ruled long enough. It thrives on silence, on conformity, on fear. It dissolves in the presence of truth, and truth is what you are. Beneath the mask, beneath the fear, beneath the years of pretending to be small, you are a force of revelation. That is why the world has always felt heavier on your shoulders, because you are here to crack it open. And in the next part, that is exactly what you will do. You will walk straight into the shadow itself, not to be consumed by it, but to reclaim the power that was buried there, the power that will make you impossible to silence. They thought you were here to comfort them. They were wrong. You are here to awaken them, and the awakening has already begun. There is a place inside you that you have feared your entire life, a place you tiptoe around even in your dreams, a silent chamber where every emotion you were told was too loud has been locked away. It waits behind your smiles, in the clench of your jaw, in the moments you go numb for no reason at all. This is your shadow, the repository of everything you exiled to survive, the rage you swallowed, the grief you silenced, the brilliance you dimmed, the instincts you disowned. You buried them so deep you began to believe they were gone. But they were not gone. They have been pacing behind the walls you built, whispering through your fatigue, pulsing in the corners of your dreams, pressing at the edges of your life like a storm trying to break through. You were taught to fear this place. They told you it would consume you, that good people do not feel rage, that strong people do not collapse, that kind people do not want more than they are given. So you cut yourself into pieces to fit inside their comfort. You wore serenity while you bled. You called it strength to endure what your soul was screaming against. But what you called strength was only suppression, and what you called peace was only paralysis. This is why you have felt so split, because half of you has been imprisoned while the other half pretends to be whole. Carl Jung said the shadow is not evil. It is simply everything the light of your awareness has not yet reached. And until you face it, it will rule you from beneath your consciousness. Every time you overgive, every time you sabotage your joy, every time you apologize for existing, it is the shadow steering you from below. You think you are choosing these patterns. You are not. They are the gravitational pull of everything you buried. But here is the truth you were never told. What you buried is not poison. It is power. There is a sacred fire in that darkness, waiting for you. It is the part of you that knew you deserved better before you were convinced to settle. It is the part that once howled when you stayed silent, that rose like a wave when you bowed, that fought for you when you would not fight for yourself. It has not died. It has only been waiting for you to return. And returning will feel like dying at first. You will tremble. You will feel shame surge through you like wildfire because you were taught to be ashamed of your own power. You will want to run. That is normal. The ego believes that facing the shadow means annihilation, but it is not annihilation. It is integration. You are not here to destroy your darkness. You are here to sit with it until it stops being a monster and starts being a map. Pause for a moment and breathe. Imagine walking into that chamber now, slow and unarmed, no longer the jailer but the witness. Look at the rage crouched in the corner. It is not here to hurt you. It is here to protect you. It became rage because no one protected you when they should have. Listen to it. Let it tell you the boundaries you never drew, the betrayals you endured in silence. Let it burn through the fog of guilt that has chained you to people who only loved your absence. This fire will not consume you. It will clear the rubble so you can stand again. And if this feels like too much, if your instinct is to close this and go back to pretending, stay. Because this is the turning point. This is the place where people run. But if you stay, if you walk into your own darkness and let it speak, everything will change. You will stop being haunted by what you suppress. You will stop leaking pain into your life unconsciously. You will become whole. And if this is stirring something in you, if it feels like the truth you have been circling your entire life, do not let it fade back into the noise. Stay close. Subscribe now, so that when the world tries to drown this voice in you again, you will have a place that calls you back to it. You are not broken. You are not too much. You are simply still carrying pieces of yourself that are waiting to come home. There will be grief waiting for you here, the grief of the child who learned to disappear, the grief of the teenager who dimmed their fire to be accepted, the grief of the adult who has built an entire life around being what others needed. Let it come. Let it crack you open. This grief will not destroy you. It will free you, because beneath it is your desire, the wild, unapologetic wanting that has been smothered under duty for years. It will come back like hunger. It will frighten you because you were taught that wanting is dangerous, that desire makes you selfish. But that was a lie told by people who feared what you could become if you stopped asking permission. You are allowed to want. You are allowed to take up space. You are allowed to burn. And as you reclaim these pieces, something will begin to shift. The exhaustion that has wrapped around your bones for years will start to lift. The fog will thin. Your energy will return in small bursts, like sparks from a long-dead fire. This is your power coming back. It will feel strange at first, like wearing a body that has grown too large overnight. You will want to shrink back to the version of you that was easy to love. Do not. That version was a ghost. This version is alive. People will notice. Some will be drawn to you, sensing a heat they cannot name. Others will pull away, unsettled, because they can no longer manipulate you. Let them go. Their leaving is not rejection. It is proof that the spell has broken. You are no longer here to carry what was never yours. Jung said that wholeness is not achieved by cutting off parts of yourself, but by integrating them. This is what you are doing now. You are not becoming someone new. You are becoming everything you were told to hide. And once you do, your shadow will stop sabotaging you. It will stop leaking into your relationships and your choices. It will become your ally. It will stand behind you like a silent sentinel, lending you its fire instead of setting your life on fire from below. And this is what they feared all along, not your softness, but your wholeness, not your empathy, but your clarity. Because when an empath becomes whole, they become untouchable. You will speak, and your voice will no longer tremble. You will walk into rooms and the air will shift. You will love without bleeding. You will give without depleting. You will exist without apologizing. And this is only the beginning. Because now that you have stepped into the darkness and survived, there is something else waiting for you. Something beyond the shadow, beyond survival, beyond awakening. In the next part, you will begin to rise. You will gather the fragments you have reclaimed and fuse them into something the world has never seen before. Yourself. Not the persona they applauded, not the mask you wore to be loved, but the sovereign being you were always meant to become. They thought the shadow would destroy you. They were wrong. It is where you found your crown. Something strange begins to happen once you have walked through your own darkness and lived. The silence no longer feels like absence. It feels like soil, fertile, waiting. You can sense something stirring there, deep and quiet, like a heartbeat beneath the ruins of the person you used to pretend to be. You no longer wake up feeling like you are drowning in other people's noise. There is space inside you now, and it is not hollow, it is sacred. You are not who you were, but you are not yet who you will be. You are standing in the liminal place between them, the threshold of becoming. This is the beginning of what Carl Jung called individuation, the slow return to wholeness, the gathering of the fragments you abandoned to survive. It will not happen all at once. It will come like tides, like breath, like seasons. Some days you will feel like lightning, powerful and clear. Other days you will crumble in the middle of a sentence, unsure who you are without the old mask to hold you together. This is normal. This is sacred. Rebirth is never graceful. It is raw. It is disorienting. It is holy chaos dismantling what was never real so the truth can grow in its place. You will begin to notice how much of your life was built for the mask. The friendships that thrived on your self-abandonment. The ambitions that were never truly yours. The roles that demanded you stay small to be loved. It will shatter you to see it, to realize how far you wandered from yourself. And for a while, you will be tempted to return to the old shape, not because you believe in it anymore, but because it is familiar. Do not. Familiar is the cage. Freedom will feel like falling at first, but it is only flight you have forgotten how to recognize. You will have to relearn how to live as your real self. It will feel clumsy, like wearing skin that hasn't settled yet. You will question your voice, your choices, your desires. That is natural. You are not weak. You are simply unused to having power that does not require permission. You have spent years calibrating your every move to keep the peace, and now the silence after speaking your truth will feel unbearable. But if you keep speaking, if you keep choosing yourself even when your voice shakes, something miraculous will happen. The trembling will stop. The words will come with ease. Your presence will begin to solidify. And if this feels impossible, if part of you fears, you will collapse without the mask. Stay, because what is coming is not collapse. It is integration. You are not losing yourself. You are reclaiming the pieces you left scattered across years of trying to be acceptable. And as they return, as you stitch yourself back together, your soul will begin to hum again, quietly at first, then louder, until you can feel it thrumming in your bones like a war drum. And if you want that sound to drown out the noise of the world when it tries to pull you back into sleep, stay close to places that remind you of it. Let this be one of them. Subscribe now, so when fear whispers that you are too much, when doubt claws at you, when the old mask tries to call you home, you will have a voice here to call you forward instead, because the world does not need another mask. It needs you. You will begin to notice that time feels different. Hours no longer vanish into nothingness. Days feel rooted again, anchored in your own rhythm. Even solitude feels alive now, no longer like exile, but like sanctuary. You will start wanting things, not because someone told you they are worthy, but because they are yours. That wanting will feel strange, even dangerous, because desire is the first language of the self, and you have not spoken it in years. At first you will whisper your wants like confessions. Later you will declare them like prayers. You will no longer contort yourself to be chosen. You will choose, and when you do, people will notice. Some will be drawn to you like moths to flame. Others will recoil. They will miss the version of you who bent to fit their comfort. They will mourn the ghost you used to be. Let them. Their grief is not your burden. They are grieving their access, not your essence. This is the cost of becoming real. You will lose people who only knew how to love your absence, but you will gain something rarer, people who can stand in the blaze of your truth without flinching. Those are your people, the ones who do not shrink when you expand, the ones who do not ask you to dim to soothe their fear. They will see your becoming and will not call it arrogance. They will call it home. You will begin to feel something you have not felt in years. Safety. Not the brittle safety of walking on eggshells, but the rooted safety of standing on solid ground inside your own skin. It will feel like gravity returning. You will stop explaining yourself. You will stop apologizing for your depth. You will stop seeking permission to exist. And when you stand like this, whole and unhidden, the world will not know what to do with you. Some will call you cold. Some will call you selfish. But what they really mean is that you have become untouchable, because once an empath becomes whole, they cannot be controlled. And this is what individuation gives you, not perfection, but sovereignty. You will still have fear. You will still stumble. But fear will no longer steer you, and stumbling will no longer shatter you. You will move through life not as someone begging to be accepted, but as someone who knows they were never meant to be anything but this. This is what Carl Jung meant when he said that individuation is the privilege of a lifetime, not becoming someone new, but becoming who you were before the world convinced you to split. And yet, this is not the end. It is only the threshold. Because once you have gathered your fragments and stood as your real self, life will demand something even greater. It will ask you to live this truth out loud, not as a secret you protect, but as a presence you embody. Not quietly, Safely, invisibly, but fully, unapologetically, unmistakably. This will be the final test. The world will try to lure you back into the old shape with the same rewards it once used to keep you small. Approval, praise, belonging. It will whisper that you are safer as a ghost, but you will know the truth now. Safety is not worth your soul. In the next part, you will step into this final fire. You will walk through the resistance of the world as your true self, not asking to be allowed, not begging to be loved, but moving as if your existence is inevitable, because it is. The mask is gone, the fragments have returned, and now the world is about to meet who you truly are. There comes a moment when you no longer flinch at your own reflection, when the fragments have fused, and the voice that once trembled now speaks with the quiet gravity of mountains. You walk through the same streets, yet nothing is the same, because you are no longer seeking to be seen. You are seeing yourself. The world has stopped being a tribunal where your worth is on trial. It has become a canvas, and you are finally holding the brush. What you carry now cannot be measured by their approval. It does not flicker when they misunderstand you. It does not bend when they resist you. There is a stillness in your chest that does not depend on outcomes. It is not arrogance. It is sovereignty. You used to crave belonging so desperately that you cut pieces off yourself to fit. Now you stand whole, and belonging bends toward you like gravity. You do not chase. You do not plead. You do not explain. When people leave, you do not collapse. You do not bargain for their return, because you know now their leaving does not diminish you. It only clears space for those who can stand in the blaze of your truth without flinching. The ones who feared your fire have vanished into their shadows. The ones who remain are not afraid to burn with you. And as you stand here entire, you begin to understand what Carl Jung meant when he said that the point of life is not perfection, but wholeness. Wholeness is not polished. It is not gentle. It is not easy to love. It does not perform. It simply exists, vast and unapologetic, like a storm or a star. You are no longer trying to be easy to love. You are no longer trying to be anything. You are simply being, and being has made you more alive than you ever thought possible. It will shock you how quiet the world becomes when you stop asking it for permission. The noise that once drowned you fades like static. The guilt that once chained you evaporates like fog. And what rises in the silence is not emptiness, but a roar, the sound of your own soul, no longer whispering through clenched teeth, but singing from the center of your bones. This is the sound of someone who has remembered they were never here to be palatable. They were here to be inevitable. And if this resonates with something you can feel but cannot name yet, stay. Stay close to the voices that remind you of this fire when the world tries to pull you back into sleep. Subscribe now, not as an act of support, but as an act of defiance, as a promise to yourself that you will not go back, because there is no going back. The mask is dust. The silence is over. You are not returning to who you were. You are becoming who you were always meant to be. This wholeness will begin to spill into everything. The way you speak will change. Your words will no longer twist themselves into shapes that make other people comfortable. They will come out sharp, clean, alive, ringing with the authority of someone who does not need to be agreed with to know they are right. Your presence will change. You will walk into rooms and people will fall silent, not out of fear, but reverence. They will not know why. They will say there is something about you. What they are feeling is not mystery. It is truth. Even your love will transform. You will stop loving as a plea. You will stop bleeding yourself dry to prove you are worthy. You will love as overflow. You will give because your cup is full, not because you are thirsty. And when someone cannot meet you there, you will not shrink to be more palatable. You will not contort to be more acceptable. You will simply step back and let their absence echo, because you have stopped confusing attachment with devotion. You have stopped mistaking self-erasure for care. This is what love feels like when it is rooted in truth, steady, fierce, and free. And this freedom will ripple through your days like a current. You will stop chasing goals that impress and start creating things that nourish. You will stop asking, will they approve? And start asking, will this make me more alive? You will stop negotiating your worth in every room you enter. Your existence will become non-negotiable. Even your solitude will taste different. Not bitter, but golden, like honey on your tongue. It will no longer be exile. It will be sovereignty. People will sense this and not understand it. They will call you distant, cold, hard. But what they are seeing is not coldness. It is clarity. It is the stillness of someone who no longer needs to prove they deserve to be here. The fear that once ruled your life will still speak sometimes, but its voice will be small now. Like wind rattling at the edges of a fortress it can no longer enter. You will feel it and keep moving anyway. That is courage. That is the legacy of everything you have survived. And this is what the world will not know how to name in you. They will try to call it confidence. They will try to call it strength. But what it truly is freedom. You are free from their definitions, free from their demands, free from the invisible leash of their approval. You are not asking to be allowed anymore. You are not hoping to be chosen. You are walking as if you are inevitable, and you are. This is what they feared all along, not your kindness, not your gentleness, your inevitability. Because once an empath becomes whole, they stop being useful to broken systems. They stop feeding the collective shadow. They start dismantling it simply by existing. Your presence now is subversive, revolutionary, uncontrollable, and it will ripple further than you can imagine. Every boundary you hold will teach someone else they are allowed to hold theirs. Every truth you speak will give someone else permission to speak theirs. Every time you refuse to shrink, someone watching will decide to stop shrinking too. This is how the world changes, not through noise, but through presence. And that is what you are now. Presence, not performance, not potential. Presence, real, unhidden, unshakable. This is the part where people will say you have changed. Smile when they say it, because they are right. You have stopped surviving. You have started living. If you are ready to claim that life, write it now in the comments. I choose awareness. If you are walking this path already, write, I rise from my shadow. If you have felt something ancient wake inside you as you listened, write, I am inevitable. Then subscribe and keep walking with us into the fire of who you were always meant to be. You are not broken. You are the light that reveals what they have hidden. And your time has come.